Hey, greetings everybody from Gresham. This is the new Proactive Works Corner, something I've created to get some questions and answers out when it comes to work comp patients and a little bit more fun, which is me compared to an email. So in order to make this successful, I'm looking for questions from you guys when it comes to work comp patients. Throw everything at me. Bryce and I are going to start doing some of these videos. They're going to be quick, they're going to be informative, and they're going to be fun. So start off with a question that I've had recently is, hey, what do you do with the work comp patient that is faking? Somebody that's obviously coming in, they're not giving their all, and they're flat out faking. So three things you want to do. Number one, you want to document. Number two, you want to call the referring provider. And number three, you want to call them out. So we'll start with number one. Documenting. Documenting, obviously, you're not going to say patients faking in your documentation, but you are going to document their inconsistencies, and you're going to write it just like that. So a very common documentation that I do when it comes to patients' inconsistencies, let's say with shoulder, somebody, they come in, they can lift their shoulder higher than they are. They're moaning and groaning, and they're only getting to 20 degrees of flexion. You try to take their arm further and they're resisting you. Obviously, they're pulling down and resisting, so they don't want to go up any higher, and they're screaming, stop, stop, stop. Yet, as the exam progresses and you're kind of just talking to them, they might reach up and scratch their head, or they might grab their coat off the coat rack, and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird. So you want to document that. You want to say, patient was observed during objective testing to be only able to raise their arm 20 degrees. With significant moaning, pain complaints, all of that. However, they were also observed to reach up overhead without any problems or with non-observable problems and grab their coat and put their coat on while talking about their weekend. Those inconsistencies are extremely valid and are used regularly. If you're not documenting that way, please start doing it, because it's very helpful when it comes to patients and their inconsistencies. So number two is calling the doctor. If you're noticing a lot of inconsistencies, nip it in the bud quick. Not that you're going to get rid of them, but more of just a conversation. You want to let the referring doctor know, as well as the adjuster. You want to let them know, hey, this patient is giving some inconsistent signs, and here's what they are. I just want you to be aware of it, because in the future, there might be some difficulties and some problems with this patient. The more the conversation starts right away, the easier it is on the back end when it comes to managing these type of patients from our perspective as therapists, as well as referring providers. They're very appreciative when we give them a heads up on things like this. Next one is calling out the patients. This is a little bit more awkward, but it's extremely important. If you notice somebody is resisting you and they're not going up, but yet you see them reach up overhead, it's important that you tell them about it. You say, hey, I saw that you really weren't able to reach your arm up 10 minutes ago, but I just saw that you had no problem grabbing that coat. Can you explain this? And that's the important part. You need to ask them, can you explain the difference? Because you'll be surprised at what patients will say when it comes to that. Sometimes they say, all right, he's on to me. I need to be a more accurate. I need to not be, I need to be more accurate with them. Another thing is they might say, oh, well, you didn't realize that you were, X, Y, and Z happened. And then write down their reason if they give one. If they don't give one, write that down too. Say patient was unable to give a reason why this was observed. All of these are important because, again, it kind of completes the medical record, as well as it gives patients an opportunity to try again. You'd be surprised at how many patients, when they know we're on to them, they say, all right, I'm not going to be able to get away with this. Let's try it again, and I'll give you my all. And then they'll likely give a much more valid, consistent effort. So it's always good to kind of let patients know it's not a trick. If the patients think they can get away with it, they're going to get away with it. If we call them out in a respectable way and document that, you'll be surprised at how many patients actually turn a corner and do a lot better. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and and remember that everything is functional, and what have you done fun, Chanel, today?